Aquarius, hello and welcome to your reading for the week of August 17th through to the 23rd. You guys have some major activity as I look through the chart and I see your second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, seventh house, eighth house, and ninth house all lit up with planets. This is just speaking to you all going through a change in your perspective because Pluto is in your sign. It will retrograde into Capricorn, your 12th house, for you guys to update your connection with the divine from a new place of feeling empowered from within. So on this card of the Emperor, we have the glyph of Jupiter, and that's in your 5th house. So you guys might be seeing how to take charge and lead from the heart in your romantic life, in your creative projects, in that which needs to your expertise. The Four of Cups following the Emperor just tells me that there was a commitment that might have left you feeling overflowed with emotions, that your inner child wanted to say yes to something and you did because you were following your heart, but it caused a lot of challenge and strife to maybe your current perception, your current paradigm, your current standards that you had for your emotional expectations. With the High Priestess, there is the glyph of Gemini and the Moon here with the 2 in the corner. It represents just feeling your way through this third cup. There's a cup above the head of the guy. So, 4th cup. The 3 of Cups was an indication of you coming together with friends, celebrating. So maybe you're reflecting back on a time when you came together with people, you wanted to celebrate life, and then there was a cup offered to you. And this cup is requiring you to pull from your roots, pull from the depths of your being, something that maybe hasn't emerged yet. And this High Priestess with her scroll sitting next to a line is just saying to get clear on your standards, get clear on what feels good versus what doesn't. We have Justice and the Death card. Big changes are afoot. Saturn and Libra. So that's pointing me to your 2nd house, where Saturn is at 17 degrees retrograde in Pisces, and with Libra lit up in your 9th house of the South Node and Black Moon Lilith, the ways that you believed you belonged in relationships is getting a breakdown. It's getting to compost. It's enriching itself from this cycle of endings that they might have been inevitable, but you didn't see it coming. And that's okay. We just have to recalculate, like, standard using Google Maps, and you miss your turn, it recalculates you and you get to your destination maybe through a scenic route. So for the Emperor, we have the 3 of Air, great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. I feel that big with the 5th house. Mars in conjunction and surpassing Jupiter is just saying that what once brought us luck is something that we're moving beyond. Something that we once saw as our opportunity to success, our window to achievement, is something that we need to move on from. Mars will retrograde in Leo this year, and that will be in your 7th house of relationships. So you're gonna think about getting into relationships in a new way come the end of the year. But until then, it's like those people who you would entertain for fun, for maybe even a fling, maybe even, if you're thinking about work, a quick solution to your issues, you're now having to reconsider those things. We have Mercury retrograding through your 8th house and into your 7th house. So the bonds that you've made, investments that you've made, again, with the 4 of Cups, we move on to the 5 of Cups. So there is a sense of progression. There is a sense of natural closure that comes in from you honoring the fact that things didn't work out. When we try to pretend that everything's fine, even when it's not, that's when that sadness doesn't have a place to live. That's when that grief can't be expressed. So it feels like you guys are doing fine. You're doing the good work of overturning those cups and actually getting to the bottom of those emotional mishaps or misfires. And with the 5 of Waters, crying over spilled milk and not seeing the positive in a situation is the only thing that can hold you back at this point, because it seems like you guys are still moving forward. I'm looking at Jupiter Day, and maybe that's exactly what this 3 of Air is speaking to, the 22nd of August. With the moon moving through Aries, you're able to honor those intellectual property projects that didn't make it that far. They didn't make it into the investment round. You didn't get your opportunity to really express your heart with something that you were involved in. And if this Four of Cups to the Five of Cups is represented by Venus Day, what I see is the moon passing Chiron and you saying, all right, I've experienced the corner. I've felt blocked for so long. And with this fifth cup, now I've just sort of been drowning myself in these sorrows and I'm ready to have a reawakening, a rebirth. And lucky for us, the sun is going to move into your 8th house. It's going to be at 1 degrees Virgo of reality. So your reality might have some bumps around the areas that you need to, if I'm thinking about a go-kart, it's like you need to be able to maneuver through these bumps. It's not that they're a bad thing. It's not scary. It's not going to deteriorate your projects, your wish fulfilled, your big goals, but it's something that you need to understand how to navigate new terrain. We have the strength in the Five of Fire with this High Priestess, so you have to definitely wield your discernment with who you're interacting with at this time, who you're allowing to come into your sacred space, how far you're allowing for conversation and communication to go before you say, hey, this is my boundary, this is where I draw the line. Competing goals, bothersome details, and conflict with others, met by great inner strength, releasing harsh judgments, forgiveness, and compassion. This feels like a whole glow up, Aquarius. Whether or not it's pleasant, whether or not it's easy, it's going to be worthwhile. This will be a moment where you look back at the end of your long life and you say, I can't believe I overcame that. This could be like a defining moment of your character this week because we do have a full moon in your sun. I'm going to backtrack it up. And I feel like this is where this death card comes in. So on the day of the full moon, the sun is at 27 degrees Leo. And at the start of the step day, the moon is at 22 degrees Aquarius. So let me go back a couple hours. I like to just be in the middle of the day for whatever reason. And we're going to have at about 8 a.m., the moon is going to be at a passionate place of where we belong. And by the time of this full moon apex, we'll have a release around our expectations from the decisions that we've made in partnerships and relationships, and we're going to just let it go. This is what this death card represents, is allowing for something new to bloom as we are going into this willing release of what hasn't served us. We know it by how it feels. It's been stagnant. It's been snaring us. It's been catching us off guard. We feel like no matter what we do or say, it's inadequate to handle the circumstance. And with justice, it feels like you're coming into a balance. You're coming into a sense of discernment around your proprietary ideas and how they deserve to be seen in the world. And maybe if you've been doing everything to make sure that you're likable and not living, then you're going to come into a need to accept how lovable you are. Even as you're going through a death portal, even as you're saying goodbye to shallow encounters, shallow people, shallow circumstances that did not belong in your life, into bigger, better, more aligned circumstances. We have the Nine of Air. So I feel like the Empress, here's what's happened. The Empress has been overthinking. And the Empress is ready to say, you know what, I just want to get into my feeling. I want to hold my inner child. Maybe you want to be a parent. And maybe you're ready to, this feels like a big relationship goodbye because this is a full moon in your 7th house. Not that it doesn't happen every year, but it's at 27 degrees. So it's like outer world actions that are no longer going to serve you. They're no longer going with you. They're not going to move your story forward. And we have the Emperor with the 6 of Earth. So it feels like as you make the decision to cut away at maybe these princes that were coming after the queen, and you're like, you know what, I don't have time for this anymore. Or maybe you're a king energy and you're ready to meet someone who can walk the royal road with you in life. You see how much you've done to balance yourself out, and you see how you are taking charge. You've become the Emperor. We have the Emperor twice in your card, and maybe you were dealing with an Emperor who couldn't see you because they were too sad. They had too much going on. And maybe if you are masculine energy, you couldn't see how much clout you have gained with yourself because of how you've been willing to handle your emotions, and you haven't been blocking them because Pluto made sure to destroy that. And Uranus in your 4th house with Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd, it just feels like you have shifted your values, you have shifted the narrative, you have shifted the way that you speak to yourself. If you still have a maternal energy's voice in your head and she was not able to hold you in a way that felt good, you've changed that up. And it's been a hard process, but you've had to pull things up at the roots, and you've done it, Aquarius. And then with Black Moon Lilith in that 9th house, it just feels like you are done with the thoughts that underwhelm you. Like, there are thoughts that you're just like, I can't believe that this is still coming up in me. And you're ready to clear that once and for all. And because you're willing to look at it and not just pretend it doesn't exist and will it away, that's when it actually can go. So we have new moon. There is a new moon on September 2nd, and that's when Pluto retrogrades into your 12th house. So I would say to set yourself up for this new moon with decisive energy about where you belong and how you belong with your thoughts. We have guides, so it feels like you're going to be able to find some guidance. Let me pull from the Divine Master's Ancient Wisdom Oracle. It feels like you're going to have some guidance, and maybe you have to get near a body of water regularly. I would say do it a couple times to see what comes to you before, during, and after your time near a body of water, in the bath. If you have some people who you listen to for meditation or insights, you might have some ideas spark. So I'm seeing Hilarion. Saint Hilarion is a divine master ascended on his physical death and has been dedicating his energy and light to helping the world experience healing and miracles ever since. He was a master healer in the temples of Atlantis and also had incarnations in ancient Egypt. So he craved personal space, but the hermitage where he lived in the desert was busy, so he went back home. His parents passed away, so he gave his worldly possessions to his siblings and those in need, and retreated to a cave in the wilderness, seeking divine connection. So he was a hermit, and people came to him and experienced miracles. And he works with the emerald ray to bring a deeper understanding of life and light. So I'm going to read you all this invocation. Imagine yourself immersed in emerald light, which I see this in the 6 of earth. Breathe deeply. When you're ready, welcome Hilarion with the words, Hilarion, Master Healer, Ancient Wisdom Keeper, thank you for initiating me into the sacred healing sciences. I am willing to have a deeper understanding of life and light. Thank you for helping me recognize that my sensitivities are gifts and that my emotions are powerful messages from my soul to my body. I welcome you now. Thank you for immersing my entire being in healing emerald light. I am immersed in healing emerald light. Thank you, Hilarion, for upgrading my frequency so I can unlock the sacred light codes of ancient civilizations and awaken the sacred healer within. I now tune my frequency and being into the ancient healing arts. I am willing to remember all of the healing arts that are stored in my soul's memory. I'm willing to remember. The willingness to remember just seems so loud. Like, it's something I encountered yesterday in my own journey, and it feels like Mama Kali is going to wrap up our reading. But your guides want you to plant seeds during this new moon with Pluto going back into your 12th house. I feel like it's going to give you a lot of power to remember your healing capacities. This is the inner child for sure. Sri Bala 27. So this is absolutely speaking to that full moon in Leo. I think to release all pain, stigma around your childhood. When you were a child, maybe you felt powerless. Maybe you didn't feel connected to your parents in a way. Or maybe your parents silenced your gifts out of fear. Maybe they were involved in the church. Maybe they were involved in a cult. Maybe they weren't spiritual and they told you God wasn't real. And now you're coming to find God on your own standards, on your own terms. And this is unlocking gifts that you have had that you just are coming into remembering. Aquarius, affirm for me in the comments. I easily follow my heart and intuition. Also affirm, I will receive a gift this week that unlocks deeper gifts within me. Until next time, aloha.